My name's Roger. 49 years ago, I was adopted at birth, and I've been sharing some of my experiences with being adopted and some of the issues that I've dealt with. Um, and I've had multiple conversations with people about something I mentioned a few weeks ago, and it has to do with like kind of reframing some of the experiences that I had as a child. And you go through things as a kid, and you don't really have the the know-how to deal with some of the things you deal with. Because when you're adopted, there's some times that you can feel like you've been thrown away, or that no one cares about you, and it happens with whether you're adopted or whether you experience the foster care system, or if you grew up in a difficult household. You can, as a kid, you looking for love, and you're looking for support and security. And if you miss some of those things, it can really affect your life. Um, one of the things that I was talking with a friend about was when I was in elementary school. I got a remote control car. Me and a childhood friend, Paul Johnson, and we got a remote control car at the same time. And there was kind of like just an area where we all played as kids. We played hide and go seek and stuff like that. And so Paul and I built this track, and we built it specifically for our remote control cars, and built it, and we're playing with our cars, and we're racing them. And man, it had to be the first week that I was trying to fly, and I my car jumped and it hit a rock, and it broke. It broke my car. It broke the wheel, and oh my God, I was so disappointed. And I remember trying to fix it, and I remember trying to use Elmer's glue. That didn't work. I tried to use Scotch tape and duct tape, and everything I tried did not work. And I ended up having to throw the car away. The funny thing about that is, if I could go back and talk to the elementary age me, I would, one, tell them you got to make the track wider, right? I just remember the track being just enough to have both of our cars on it, and we didn't know what we were doing. Also, I would tell the younger me to slow down around the curves. Like, you can't go 1,000 miles an hour the whole way. But you're that young, you're trying to win, and you're just trying to pedal to the metal. And so I would I would explain to my younger self that you can't do that. You got to slow down when you get to the curves, and you got to take them at a particular angle, and this is how you do it. And I might take the controller from him and kind of show him, right? And that's something that I did for me in my life. I went back and I started to talk to the younger me, and I helped the younger me see things in a different perspective. I have a 6-year old about to be 7, and yesterday, I worked yesterday. He was in school, and then after school, he needed more shorts, so we went to the store. We walked around a couple stores, and we bought some shorts and some T-shirts. Then we came home. I cooked, and he ate, and then he wants a snack, and then he wants to play on his iPad a little, and it's starting to get dark. And he was like, "Dad, can we go to the park?" And I was like, "Not today, Lou. It's starting to get dark." And he was like, "Why? Why can't we go?" Well. And I'm like, "It's getting dark, but like there's another day. We can go another day." Um, and at his age, he doesn't understand, like, okay, it's getting dark, and the park closes at a particular time, and he's just thinking, well, there's less kids. We could just go. I could just run around. And sometimes when you're that young, you don't have the right perspective on how to see things. And I just remember being a kid, and my mom worked 3 to 11, and I remember I wanted her to take me and my buddies to the pool, and it was like, I don't know, 12 or something like that. And she's like, I can't. I gotta go to work. I'm like, well, you don't have to be to work till 3. It's 12. Like, I didn't recognize, like, you got to get there, and then you got to be there, and then you're gonna run around, and you're gonna swim, and then I got to get you back home. Then she's got to get ready for work. So you don't think about all those things when you're a kid. You just think about what you want and what you're experiencing at that moment. And so what I did was I went back and I talked to that kid in me, and I helped that kid in me to recognize that some of the experiences that you have that you view in a negative way, you can turn that and see the other side of the coin. One thing that I mentioned, I don't know, a couple months ago was I struggled with just like I felt thrown away. And so it was hard for me to kind of put myself out there when I felt any kind of rejection at all. And so there were things that as a kid you're trying to talk to this group and that group, and there were times that I felt a rejection. Not that they had done anything wrong, but this was something that I was struggling with inside. And so what it did was it made me um, I would play with, say, I don't know why I remember this kid's name, Arthur Ververnia. I would play with Arthur Ververnia one day. Another day I might play with Yusuf Woods. Another day I might play with Will Swaggart. Another day I might play with a bunch of different people. Um, and I felt like I would find something that I could relate to with them, and we just hang out for that day or for that week, whatever it was. Um, and so as a kid, I felt rejection from so many different places, and I never voiced this. I just felt the rejection, and I was just quiet, really quiet about it. And so what I did at one point is I went back and I talked to that kid that felt rejected, and I let him see the other side of the coin. Let him see that all those rejections that you felt built a strength in you. And so what it did was it it built a strength in me and the ability to talk to a bunch of different types of people and be comfortable talking to a bunch of different types of people and being able to find something to relate to a bunch of different types of people. And so at this point in my life, I can talk to anybody, and I'm pretty comfortable with it. Um, and some of my friends will be like, "Do you just talk to everybody?" Like, yeah, I just do. But it was all of that rejection that I felt was actually strengthening something in me that I kind of have a gift for anyway. But it built up a strength in me that I now use in what I do for work now, and that ability to connect with people quickly. I mean, it's what I do for my business now. I connect with people, and that's how I turn something that I saw as a negative as a kid into a positive. Because you know you can allow that kid in you to control you, and now you feel rejection all your life. Like I felt rejection as a kid, now I'm feeling rejection all my life. And every time there's anything that I could deem as a rejection as an adult, I allow that kid in me to control it. Like, you've been rejected since you were birth. You know, your parents didn't want you. This group didn't want you. That group didn't want you. This job didn't want you. That job. Like, you could feel all these different things and look at it from that little kid's perspective. Or you can reframe that and look at it from the strength that was built from the rejections you felt. And it can help you uh, in today, because a lot of times the kid in us is controlling us today. That hurt kid is controlling us today. See, somebody hurt me when I was 10, so that's why I don't fool with this type of person. Or this type of person hurt me at 12, that's why I don't fool with that type of person. But in reality, there's two sides to everything. Like, I think back and I think of some of the things that I have done or said that I'm sure hurt somebody else's feelings. And whether I meant it in that way or not, I'm sure there is somebody in my life that has been offended by something that I've said or done. And even if that wasn't my point, or it wasn't my the reasoning behind I did or said what I said, but I learned to take control of how I view my past. And if I view it in a proper way, I can use it as a strength instead of using it as a way to be like I was when I was young and just quiet and just sat back and unwilling to do things outside of my comfort zone. And so I don't know if you struggle with it, or you know somebody that struggles with it, or you know somebody that's been adopted, because they might not say it, or somebody that's experienced the foster care system, even though they're your friend, they might not tell you. Because I can tell you, I talked to one of my friends from my childhood this week, Chris Bottoms, and as we were talking, he's like, dude, he's like, I watched a few of your videos, and he's like, I had no idea that you were adopted. I had no idea you were going through that. And so I'm telling you, you could be really close to a person and not know that they're struggling with some things. And so, yeah, if it's you, I hope you can take what I shared and go back and talk to the young you and help the young you view things differently. If it's somebody that you know, maybe you can share this video or another video I've done kind of talking about something similar, because I can tell you it's difficult to talk about. And like I shared in my very first video, the only reason I'm talking about it is because there's a kid who plays sports with one of my children who's adopted. And I remember what that felt like. And man, it can be a bear. So hopefully this helps you, or hopefully you can share it with somebody and it'll help them. Talk to you soon.